San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one of Jon and Jim. We are with you until 6 p.m. We would love to hear from you. Our text line is open, 70470, started with team. Our phones, 844-570-1360. I already want to punch Jim. Jim already wants to punch me. We have great tickets to give away. We've got another 4-pack of tickets to Hallow Scream. I'm the first one in, okay? I'm the first one in. 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Hallow Scream. We've got tickets to give away to the Pacific Air Show. David J. from Mad Friars. We're going to catch up on the Padres system because catching up on the Padres isn't as enjoyable as catching up on the Padres system, and he will join us coming up at 5:30. So we have to start, even though it didn't even matter really if the Padres won or lost yesterday. But Jim, and we mentioned in the Fusion, you lost your mind last night. I never expected it because we've said for weeks now the season's over, and I get a text from Jim in whatever inning it was when the Padres loaded the bases against Lance Lim, trailing 4-0, and then Trent Grisham lays down this like infamous bunt with the bases loaded, nobody out. It's like, Trent Grisham just bunted with the bases loaded, nobody out. Like, what are we going to do about it? I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to do about it? And then we're going to hear from the Dodgers, if you haven't already heard what they had to say post-game about this bunt. But this was like, for you, this was the tipping point. Like, yeah, the season was lost, but once Trent Grisham laid down a bunt with the bases loaded, nobody out, effectively benefiting the Dodgers from that point forward, you essentially lost it last night. And you said to me last night, I kid you not, you said you're not going to sleep because of that. Did you sleep?
No.
You've been up all night worried about this Trent Grisham bunt.
I have been last night. See, I'm already flustered because I'm tired. I didn't fall asleep last night until probably, no joke, 2 a.m. And then
you were tossing and turning.
I woke up this morning at 8 a.m.
What? You got to be dead tired
and
by your standards.
And I didn't go back to bed. And I have been an absolute wreck since last night.
Why would you go back?
Because of this stupid bunt by Trent Grisham.
And we don't need to set it up, but the circumstance.
No, I do want to set it up because I think that needs a little context.
Okay, then let me set it up.
Because in this point in the season, we agree. Right? You mean you slept through half the game last night?
I did.
People aren't
after the bunt
actively going and watching this game, going out of their way. This game means absolutely nothing for the Padres. So I would say a lot of people, they have no idea maybe what we're talking about.
Okay, so let me set it up. Okay? Because the reason I say you don't need to set it up is like, I was at the point, what surprised me last night is I'm surprised that you care about an in-game moment in a season that's over. But fair. Padres are down 4-0. They load the bases against Lance Lynn, who, by the way, has not been good recently for the Dodgers, for whatever it's worth.
Double, single, walk.
They load the bases. There's nobody out. Trent Grisham is your number 6 hitter. You're trailing 4-0. He's representing the tying run. It's very early in the game. What inning is it? Fourth
inning.
Okay, so it's still relatively early in the game. You've loaded the bases with nobody out. Lance Lynn, you could argue, I guess, is on the ropes. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Oh, yeah.
But he's got a 4-0 lead. Trent Grisham proceeds on the first pitch he sees to lay down a bunt that is hit pretty sharply to third, where the third baseman steps on the bag for out number 1 and a run scores. That's on the first pitch Grisham saw. So representing the tying run, he gives up an out, and then they proceed to get out of the inning. So this is when Jim freaks out. To be honest, in real time, I wasn't aghast at it. Now you were, to your credit. And then, of course, the Dodgers agreed with you. Dodgers are like, and we should hear from Dave Roberts. We should hear from Lance Lim.
That's what I want to hear first before I give my opinion on this thing. So we'll start with Dave Roberts. This was Dave Roberts post-game last night talking about Trent Grisham bunt in the 4th inning.
Yeah, I don't think that Lance had command tonight. I think everyone in the ballpark saw that. He was trying to find his delivery. The ball was doing some funky things, getting into some bad counts, some walks there. He made pitches when he needed to. That double play from Kike was huge off the bat of Tatis. And I think in that 4th inning, we had the bases loaded. They had the bases loaded, and Grisham lays down a bunt, and we get a force play right there, and that got us out of the inning. And for me, that changed the game. Guy hitting in the 6th hole and lays down a bunt, and basically did us a favor right there. So for me, that was a big changing point because he was hanging, and they had him on the ropes, and so he recovered and got.
Okay, so that was Dave Roberts.
Very strong words from a manager about an opponent's decision in a game.
And then you are kind of thinking to yourself, well, all right, what do the players think about? What did Lance Lynn think about that moment in the game where, according to Dave Roberts, didn't have his best stuff. He was on the ropes, had the bases loaded. What did Lance Lynn, who was on the mound, who got out of that inning only allowing one run after the bases got loaded with no outs, what did Lance Lynn think about that moment from Trent Grisham?
Yeah, you get the bases out there with no outs. The bunt out was kind of huge. They kind of did me a favor there, let me reset, kind of gave me a free out. So, and then I was able to get some weak contact after that on some fly balls. So, and then kind of got moving there a little bit. One mistake to the tees. But when you get the lead like that, you're just trying to attack and make sure you don't give up free base runners.
Okay, so you heard from Dave Roberts there, saying it was a turning point in the game. Don't know why the 6-hole hitter laid down a bunt, but thank you. And then you heard from Lance Lynn saying, that definitely changed his outing, got a free out because, Trent Grisham laid down a bunt after he was struggling in that inning, got a couple weak contact, gave up a home run to Tatis, doesn't matter, pitched 7 innings, 2 earned runs, got out of there with the win. Trent Grisham needs to be DFA'd by the Padres like today. That moment last night by Trent Grisham is like, it encapsulates the entire season for the Padres for me, because the mindset we've been talking about, their approach at the plate all year long in clutch situations has been god awful. We have had multiple discussions about, this team not playing for one another, this team not communicating at times. Like, remember the start of the year, there was this huge discussion about, we need to talk more in the dugout to each other before someone goes to at bat. We need to help each other out. Last night, to me, that approach by Trent Grisham was so bad. It was for me like a tipping point. And I know it shouldn't be, but it is because of how egregious that moment was. If this dude's on the team and he's hitting the 6th hole and he's facing a pitcher who is, I guess, on the ropes. Well, according to Dave Roberts, he was on the ropes. According to Lance Lynn, he didn't have his best stuff. A guy that in his last 2 outings, in the last 9 innings pitch, has given up 15 earned runs. Okay. And you go up there for a dude that throws predominantly fastballs. All right. You go up there and first pitch bunt. Like, get off my team. And get off my team. You're done. That is such an egregious at bat for me, and the mindset is so horrible that you pointed it out. The second he laid down that bunt, did you see anybody in that dugout celebrating?
No, the Padres dugout. That was the first indicator that he probably made a mistake, even though a run scored. When they showed the dugout, and I think Soto scored, he looked back behind him to see if an out was recorded, and nobody really congratulated Soto on scoring. I think he got a fist bump from Bob Melvin, but nobody in the dugout was clapping. Listen, everything you said about Trent Grisham, and he made a mistake, no question about it. It was a wrong decision.
What are we doing here?
But hear me. I mean, and a lot of what you're saying, I do understand what you're saying. We've been critical. There have been other times, Jim, we said earlier in like May at some point, like, you need to make a move, AJ. You can't allow this to continue. Don't be scared to put Trent Grisham in AAA or whatever we said at the time. This was May or June. At this point, it's too late. And everything you're saying is accurate. I don't think based on one mistake of a decision by Trent Grisham, I'm DFAing him. If anything, it's on AJ Preller for allowing him to get consistent every day at bats for 4 years.
That's why I'm DFAing him. He brings very little to the club. He plays good defense, but I can find 50 other dudes that can play just as good a defense as him in center field. And I could also find 50 other guys that could do the exact same thing he does at the plate. So there's nothing about Trent Grisham that speaks to him being this outlier that they have to have him on this team. It's a body of work of why I'm DFAing him. And then with that being we can't get through this guy. If we can't have this dude who's in the 6th hole, okay, I don't care where he's batting, by the way. I don't care if he's in the 9 spot. I don't care if he's in this. I don't care where he is in the lineup.
Yeah, I don't see that shouldn't even impact the situation. It's bases loaded, nobody out. Why does it matter that he's hitting?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And the only people that tells you it matters, and the only people that are not upset about this today, and the only people that don't really understand why people are upset about this are either team employees or people that don't know anything about baseball. That's a fact. So Trent Grisham, for his body of work, what he has done on this Padres team, he's had a couple good moments, but the dude is a lifetime 200 hitter. He's bunting with the bases loaded. Bob Melvin has to go out there and be like, I didn't call that. I don't know what's happening. Makes Bob Melvin look bad. It makes you look bad as a player. And to have the Dodgers clown you like they did post-game from their manager and the starting pitcher, bro.
Okay.
Bye-bye. You're done. You're not on this team anymore. No more Trent Grisham. It's over with.
Couple of things. Here's the thing. He didn't bat himself 6th. He didn't decide to be a 200 hitter for 4 years. The Padres decided to allow him to be a 200 hitter for 4 years.
Yep.
Okay.
Enabling.
So, yeah, there's an enabling aspect of it. The fact that he would bunt in that spot, while surprising, isn't surprising, as we know, because we've watched a lot of Trent Grisham.
And why is he on his
basically two things happen with Trent Grisham right now. He's either striking out or he is bunting.
Mm-hmm.
That is basically his game. Listen, I'm with you. You swing away, who the hell knows what happens? You could have played for a 10-run inning. We'll never know. He could have had a base hit. They could still be playing. It could have been a 20-run inning. He could have hit a grand slam. We'll never know. And he certainly started the process of getting out of the inning. What I would say is this. Entering the game, it goes back to what we've been saying now for weeks. Entering the game was meaningless. Coming out of the game remains meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the Padres to fix their core issues, which continue to be allowing yourself to have a center fielder that has hit 200 for the last 4 years. If you're trying to win World Series or get to postseasons or compete, and you're facing teams like the Braves and the Dodgers and the Astros and whomever, and Trent Grisham is your solution to bat every single day and play 160 games, that, again, is more on the organization than it is on Grisham. So, yes, in the moment, if this was the postseason, you never hear the end of it. But they were out of it either way. Even if he hits a grand slam, and I put it more on the organization to have him out there for 4 years than I do on Trent Grisham making a mistake.
It's on Trent Grisham, but it's also not on Trent Grisham. I agree with you there. It's on the player for having that stupid mindset at the plate after the bases get loaded and to bunt on the first pitch.
Right.
And by the way, have it be a horrible bunt. I mean,
he hit the thing 100 miles an hour. It's probably his highest exit velocity of the year.
And look,
ball flew off his bunted bat.
I could give two you-know-whats if that bunt worked. I don't care.
You're saying it's just the process, the idea.
The process and the mindset and the mentality going up to the plate with the bases loaded versus a dude who just gave up a double, a single, and a walk. And we've seen his numbers. He's not having a good year, okay? And you lay down a bunt. That to me is why it's so frustrating to see. And then it's also frustrating to see him still be on this team. And to your point, this organization and AJ Preller are enablers because they're allowing this type of crap to continue with these players that are not good. So having Trent Grisham on this team, it's not Trent Grisham's fault that he's on this team, but it's also his fault with the mindset he has. And then it goes back to AJ Preller. It's your fault having this player who has a crappy mindset and a crappy approach to be allowed to have 450 at-bats a season.
Right. This is okay. So what it is it's a culmination that the path they've pursued, you look at this one moment, this one slice, this moment shows all the problems.
To me,
it brought
everything.
it all to light. And I do agree with that. Now, I'm so fascinated now to see this Padres lineup, which is not yet out for a 7-10 game tonight.
If he's in the lineup tonight, I'll lose it even more.
I think he'll be in the lineup.
I think he will too.
I think he's going to be in the lineup tonight.
I think he will too. And
honestly, here's the thing. What the Dodgers did last night with Grisham was to try to bring this situation to light even more. They're basically trying to clown the Padres, right? The fact that Dave Roberts would comment like that publicly means that was his plan. Mm-hmm. The fact that Lance Lynn said the same thing Dave Roberts said means they talked about it in the clubhouse before speaking with the media.
Dude, they're laughing at this guy.
This was their plan. There's no question. There's always been something in recent years between the Padres and the Dodgers. We know the Dodgers have had the upper hand. We know the Padres beat them last year in the postseason. This was a moment to get in a jab, I think, if you're Dave Roberts or Lance Lynn, at a bad moment from the Padres. I wouldn't DFA him. I would not DFA him. They haven't DFA'd anyone else for any other decision they've made all year long. And now it's going to be Trent Grisham in a meaningless game in September. I say play the thing out. It doesn't matter at this point. And then I don't think Trent Grisham will be here in 2024, regardless of what happened yesterday. But you can't. There's what point are you proving? What point are you proving by DFAing Trent Grisham today?
That you're not allowing that type of crap to continue.
Yeah, but the problem is that if that was the point that they were trying to make, then they should have made points previously.
Well, we know
earlier.
John, we know that they can't make any points because they're an incompetent franchise.
Well, then why would they make it now?
Hey, blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Maybe they make one right decision once in a while that helps his team out. I agree with you. They're not going to DFA Trent Grisham right now. That's just stupid on September 13th.
Right.
Fair up to me. I'd be a horrible GM. I understand that, but I would.
You would be making moves left and right.
Oh my God, it'd be
fancy
baseball. You would have
DFA'd Machado like 13 times the last 5 years.
Probably. But I do agree with you. There's no circumstance here that Trent Grisham should return to this team.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I'm all for that criticism.
And you might be listening right now. I mean, like, why are you guys just continuously talking about Trent Grisham? He doesn't matter.
No, but it's like the domino effect. Like this is the straw that broke the camel's back.
It's everything encapsulated into that one moment.
Yeah, I get it. I do.
Just tipped me
when you
over.
Snap. It's like, like why do I always bring it to crime? Can I make a crime analogy? I don't know why I do this.
Come on, let's do it, buddy.
It's like, do it.
Go all in. Do it.
It's like before. There's a moment typically when like the murderer snaps. I watch a lot of Dateline. Kristen watches a lot of Dateline. Kristen watches a ton of like true crime. Look, what are the channels called? Like the ID channel, like Discovery, Dateline. But oftentimes, like in the heat of the moment, there's a moment. Right? This is what happened with Jim last night. Now, Jim didn't murder anyone, we don't think, last night. Aaron's fine, right?
She's hurting, but she's fine.
Oh, great. But like
when
things. Trent Grisham bunted in the fourth inning, you had your like snap moment. Because you're like, I've had enough and I'm going to go scream at someone.
I did. And I haven't really tweeted much about like in-game stuff of late because we've said it.
Because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But that moment in particular, I looked at Aaron. I go, what the F is he doing? Even Aaron looked at me and goes, why did he bunt there? Because we were watching the game. We had it on. And yeah, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
I can't wait to see this lineup. I hope Trent Grisham's hitting like twice in the lineup. First and fifth.
All Trent Grisham.
Yeah.
But man, it's not about Trent Grisham. It's about everything. And it all just tipped over for me in that one moment. You have an opportunity to swing away, bases loaded, no outs, down by 4 runs, and you give up. You basically essentially give up and you bunt. And if it worked, I still would have been pissed at it because the mindset is so off with this team that is something that now Bob, I'm sure, looked at his coaching staff and was like, what the hell was he doing? Like, this is also a recurring thing too. Like Trent Grisham has done multiple things that I'm sure the coaching staff has looked at each other and been like, what the hell was that? So then back to the point of this is on AJ for enabling this and then allowing Trent Grisham, who frankly is a fringe, big leaguer at best on every other team in the big leagues besides the Padres, to allow him to continue to get at bats after making mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake.
Hopefully the Grishams aren't listening this afternoon. It's not personal, by the way.
It's not personal. You're just not a good baseball player. Like,
it's not personal.
It's not personal. I'm sure he's a great person. I'm sure he's a great husband or boyfriend or whatever the case may be. He's a great overall person. But as a baseball player, you're not good.
Sorry, Trent.
Sorry.
Okay, on the other side, Blake Snell tonight.
Hey, at least he didn't strike out looking.
True. Who knows if they even score if he doesn't bunt in that inning. Blake Snell tonight, is he pitching for a Cy Young in the National League? Does it go through tonight at Dodger Stadium? Is this Blake Snell Cy Young to lose? Plus, still ahead, David J. for Mad Friars. Also, we've got a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream to give away and a pair of tickets to the Pacific Air Show to give away. Stay with us. We are just getting started on Jon and Jim.
Bunted with the bases loaded.
All right, with the backdrop of Trent Grisham's bunt gate, Blake Snell tonight, is he pitching for a National League Cy Young at Dodger Stadium against the Dodgers? We'll get into that next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, Dodgers, final game of their 3-game series. Final matchup versus the Padres and Dodgers for the rest of the season because the Padres aren't sniffing the postseason. 7:10 first pitch. Blake Snell on the mound for the Padres. Other news with the Padres that we'll get to. Darvish has officially been shut down for the rest of the season. Other news in baseball. Bad news for the Texas Rangers. Max Scherzer has been shut down for the rest of the season as well. And the Aztecs take on Oregon State this Saturday, 12:30 kickoff, 10:30 pregame. Coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. And this update's been brought to you by Staples.
All right, great giveaways today. We've got that 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. We've got a pair of tickets to the Pacific Air Show to give away. David J. Matt Friars will join us at 5:30. The Tin Caps, by the way, won yesterday.
They won.
They're a game away from advancing in the Midwest League, trying to beat a Dodgers affiliate in a best-of-3 series. They won yesterday 5-0. And by the way, the reason we're talking about Grisham and sharing our frustration is like, what else do you want us to? I mean, are we supposed to pretend as if we have to care? We talk about this every single day.
Oh, no, I do. I care a lot.
That's the thing. It's like,
I love my job.
It's like what we said about Tatis when he got suspended a year ago. It's like we were so mad because we probably care too much. Like the anger comes from a place of like concern.
Yeah.
The anger about last night comes from a place of concern about the state of the Padres organization, which is like sideways, completely sideways. And can it be put back on track by the time 2024 starts is really the question when you see something like what happened last night happen on field.
Now, I don't really know how it feels because I've been in San Diego for, what is it, almost 14 years now?
Well, what year did you get here? You're probably way off. You're like, I've been here since 1990. I've been here 14 years.
Sorry, I got here in 2011. So 13 years. 12 years.
Yeah, 12 13 years.
12, 13 years, whatever. And I've never been able to cover like a competent, good Padres team. Last year, I was going to say, last year was like the first taste for a full season.
Yeah, it wasn't perfect.
It wasn't perfect. But the postseason last year was like what I assume whoever does Braves channels and has, in Atlanta, right? They cover the Braves and they've got to have just this magical run all summer long to the best record in baseball, to I'm assuming the best record in franchise history, to covering an MVP, World Series contender year in and year out. It hasn't been the case here at all. So why I get upset about things is because I'm like tired of covering an incompetent team. It's at times it's completely interesting, and AJ Preller makes it like just so fascinating and interesting every day for the stuff that he does. But it'd be nice to like cover, I don't know, a competent winning franchise.
It would be nice to cover a winner. I don't know how we deal with like a 111 win regular season.
True.
Like I'm okay with the day in and day out, up and down roller coaster ride that it is. And by the way, we don't have to worry about it because the Padres aren't winning 111 games in regular season.
And we're not part of the Padres
soon
at all. So,
all right, 844-570-1360. We'll get into Blake Snell tonight. This could be the outing that basically decides whether he wins it or he loses it. He is still a favorite. He's minus 220 right now in Vegas to win the NL Cy Young. Let's go to the phones, though. 844-570-1360. Andrew wants to weigh in on the Padres. And Andrew, you're on with Jon and Jim. Oh, Murray, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? How you going? How you doing? Yeah.
Last night, and I was disgusted when I saw what Grisham did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got the bases loaded. Why are you not swinging the bat?
I agree with you. I agree with you, Murray.
I don't understand that. I mean, I don't get to see the games a lot anyway here in Minnesota, but that was pathetic.
You had another point, though, too, right, Murray? What was your second point?
Yeah, and I'm wondering, what is Preller thinking? I mean, he brings in these guys that they're, for some reason they forget how to hit at Petco Park, and it's a train wreck every single year.
Thanks
Murray,
for the call,
thank
Murray.
you.
Appreciate
it. Well, here's the thing.
Every other year, actually.
Yeah, but here's the thing. These are the type of questions that cannot be answered. That's a question like, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? What's the problem with the Padres clubhouse? We don't know. Why is AJ Preller still in charge? We don't fully know. What's the direction of the organization? We don't know. You said earlier it would be nice to have a competent franchise to cover. But the Padres, I hate to put it like this, but I'm going to put it like this, and it hurts even more when you say it. Padres aren't the Dodgers.
They never will be.
They're not the Dodgers. And by the way, even the Dodgers, it's not like they've figured out the postseason because they just flat out haven't.
Right.
I mean, you look at
they've got the best too.
They've got the best winning percentage in baseball over the last decade, and they haven't won anything in the postseason.
I agree.
In the last decade. So it's not going to be like that. I mean, the Mets go out and make a brave hire, a bold hire, David Stearns. The Dodgers, an embarrassment of riches, go and hire this highly sought of executive and Andrew Friedman from the Rays. Padres haven't gone that way. So the Padres processing and the way they go about things is different. It worked kind of a year ago. I don't know if they changed their focus. I don't know if Peter Seidler's going to change it because of what the Mets have done, because of what the Dodgers are doing, or if he's just going to say, you know what? I'm all for stability. 2024 is going to be better. You saw what Tatis said today?
Yeah.
Tatis said 2024 is going to be a huge year.
Yeah. I also found it interesting that he mentioned, he's like, yeah, I'm not as strong as I was. That was an interesting quote coming off of a suspension for PEDs, but I'm not saying anything there. I'm just saying it was an interesting comment.
I need to see the exact line about his strength. Was it?
Yeah.
Was he saying in terms of playing 162 or like in the batter's box?
I don't know. It just said that my strength isn't there. I would hope, and I'd assume that's because, as what I've said and you have said, is it's hard to play a full baseball season when you don't play for a full year,
right?
And you're coming off of 3 major surgeries and a suspension that will mess with your mind more than anything.
But you're saying when you say something like that, he says, "Yeah, I'm definitely weaker than I was before." When you say something like that, and you're less than a year removed from a PED suspension, people put 2 and 2 together like, well, that's the reason why you're not as strong. I would say, well, he's played every day. He's playing a new position. He's had wrist and shoulder surgeries.
Yeah.
So maybe he's stronger next year because of that.
That's how I would want to view it. But the first thing I thought of wasn't that,
right.
Honestly.
Right.
It wasn't. The first thing I thought of was, ooh, probably not a good idea to say that I'm weaker than I used to be because you just came off of PD suspension. Like, not the greatest thing to say there.
Okay, here's what I think about Blake Snell tonight. I think if he can get through tonight, he doesn't have to be great. He hasn't allowed more than 3 runs in outing. I think in his last 21, either 20 or 21 starts. If he goes 6 innings, 3 runs, shoot, even 5 innings, 3 runs. If it's 3 runs or less, 5 innings or more, I think it remains his to lose. I don't even know how much the last 2 starts matter. Tonight's the night you got to avoid a blow-up. It's always possible against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, even though he's been good against them. But when you see Freeman and Betts and Will Smith and others in the lineup, you're always capable of allowing 4, 5, 6 runs. Look at Waka yesterday. Get through tonight, I think he wins the Cy Young. Get through tonight successfully, I think he wins the Cy Young. Okay. Agree or disagree?
No, whatever.
No, you can't give me that.
Why not?
You can't fully discount Blake Snell's season.
I'm not
because
discounting
the team hasn't had a good year.
I'm not discounting it.
Well,
John.
you can't say whatever and say you're not discounting.
I was being facetious. I was joking. Okay. I do think that it matters. I think that it's fun to watch Blake Snell pitch this season. And if he wins the Cy Young, I think that'd be a cool moment for the franchise and for him. It sucks knowing that this is a wasted year and you're not going to be able to have Blake Snell at the top of your rotation heading into a postseason
Completely
series.
agree. It's a little bit like conference realignment. Like you win the Cy Young, he signs with the Dodgers and he gets it at Petco when the Dodgers visit.
Yeah.
Caleb, like SC wins the national championship. I'm making it up. And then they're a member of the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't really get to, from the Pac-12 perspective, you don't get to enjoy it. From a Padre perspective, what happens if he does go to the Dodgers or the Giants? Are you really celebrating that in 2024 upon his return? No,
it's going to be it's going to be? It is going to be a so Padres moment that he'll come back here in a Dodgers uniform or a Giants uniform. He'll shove and he'll get his Cy Young award trophy or plaque right behind home plate before the outing.
I agree with you. By the way, Kevin Acey writing yesterday, I put this in my phone, I screen grabbed it. He wrote yesterday, Blake Snell is now widely considered a virtual lock to leave in free agency, largely due to the Padres' desire to trim payroll.
Yeah, we didn't need and love Kevin. I didn't need Kevin to know that.
Yeah.
I don't need Dennis Lynn to report anything. I don't need Ken Rosenthal. I don't need anybody to report about Blake Snell. We know he's gone. It's over. He's done. Good for him. He did exactly what he needed to do personally for his season, which was pitch well. Because if he pitched well, it was going to parlay him into a big-time contract. Well, he outdid himself because he's potentially going to win the Cy Young going into a walk here with Scott Boras as your agent.
It's going to make a lot of money.
Played his cards perfectly.
No,
congratulations.
It's good for Blake Snell. It's not, unfortunately, going to be good for the Padres. All right, on the other side, you mentioned the Pac-12. Will it be around in 2024? And could San Diego State be headed for it? J.D. Wicker, San Diego State's athletic director, earlier today on the Darren Smith Show on the future of the Pac-12, San Diego State possibly being in a league with Oregon State and Washington State, plus David J. from Mad Friars. You'll join us coming up at 5:30. We have tickets to give away for SeaWorld Tahoe Stream and also the Pacific Air Show. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. Hey guys, it is Schaefer. I've been telling you about Windmill Farms. This is the place to go to get your weekend started. All your game day needs. If you're watching pro football, college football, whatever you're doing this weekend, Windmill Farms, the college area's natural grocer, they have you covered. All of your game day needs. I'm talking about produce and meats, organic and farm fresh. The beer I've been telling you about, you need to see their craft beer selection. It's spectacular. They have an amazing craft beer selection. They've got a full deli with award-winning sandwiches. It's a great spot to pick up lunch. I've been doing that when I've been near Montezuma Mesa. They're centrally located off Del Cerro Boulevard, right across the freeway, right by the Mesa. Windmill Farms, they're your family-owned market. They've been serving the San Diego area for over 20 years. So get ready for your weekend over at Windmill Farms. Whatever you need, they have. You can visit windmillfarmsmarket.com to see their weekly specials. Again, windmillfarmsmarket.com to see their weekly specials. Whatever you're looking for, beer, deli, produce and meats, whatever you're looking for, they have it. And remember to shop local, shop at Windmill Farms. All right, we've got those SeaWorld Howl Scream tickets to give away. We also have tickets to the Pacific Air Show to give away. Be listening. We'll give those away between now and 6 p.m. My wishes have come true. Trent Grisham is in the lineup for the San Diego Padres. Remember we said Blake Snell is trying to win a Cy Young? The lineup tonight for the Padres would maybe indicate otherwise.
They're like, you know what? We don't really care about that.
Right, because we know you're not going to be here. Just let me read this real quick. Not the full lineup.
Read the full thing.
Okay. Kim, Tatis, Soto, great. Campusano, Profar, Cooper, Grisham, Batten, Rosario. No Machado, no Bogarts for the Padres with Blake Snell on the mound. But Trent Grisham, listen, he's going to serve his punishment. He's been moved from 6th to 7th in the lineup after bunting with nobody out in the 4th inning yesterday.
It's a joke, dude. It's an absolute joke. It seems laughable. It's laughable.
Well, what did you think? I mean, it's September 13th. They're going to make wholesale changes off.
I know. And if you're listening, you're like, Jim, why are you like, who cares, bro?
Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matters to me, damn it.
It's the principle.
It's the principle of the whole thing. You're right. 100%. That's the word I'm looking for. It's the principle of things. To go out the way they're going out again for the 3rd time in the last 5 years is laughable.
But here's the other thing. Like, if I'm Blake Snell, it's a bit of a disservice to what I've done.
Right.
To field that lineup against the LA Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, trying to win a series. He's attempting to win a Cy Young. You aren't, it's over. Fangraphs gives them a 0.0% chance of making the postseason. But mathematically, it's not over. And I've argued if Manny Machado, I'm all for Manny Machado not playing in September if it makes the Padres better in 2024, if he needs an elbow surgery. If Machado's not playing against the Dodgers, then shut him down. If Machado's not playing on September 13th, then shut him down. You can have your elbow surgery and you can get healthy for 2024. So I don't really understand the indecisiveness right now.
And for anybody out there saying, well, you know, Padres are going for series win tonight. Shut up. It's not about that.
No, but I mean, you would think you would try to field a lineup that's capable of winning for Blake Snell.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the whole thing here. I mean, you had last night was pathetic against a guy who has a ERA around 6. And then tonight, Trent Grisham gets there's no consequence for doing what he did last night. Like none. I mean, if you want to put your foot down here and say that type of crap is not going to fly around here. If any Dodger player bunted with the bases loaded and no outs after the pitcher gave up a double, a single, a walk, I can guarantee you that player, who would not be a good player, by the way, because you're not seeing any good players for the Dodgers do that, would not be in the lineup the next day.
Jim. That's your name.
I'm so mad
Jim.
still.
Jim, you think on September 12th, now 13th,
I know
they're putting their foot down. When this April, they were swept at Dodger Stadium, including a game, I think, on Sunday Night Baseball, trailing 4-0 in the 9th inning and laughing about it.
I know.
In the dugout with 2 outs in the 9th inning on the verge of being swept. They didn't do anything about that. But now 5 months later, they're supposed to, quote unquote, punish Trent Grisham.
No, I know. I get it. Trust me, John. I get it.
And also,
but here's the thing too, is I said this last night on the wrap-up show, and I'm actually, you kind of were shocked that I'm like kind of coming around with all the things you've just said. There's no consequences here. There's no repercussions. There's no putting the foot downs. There's no anything with this franchise that resembles any type of competency that would resemble a winning franchise at all. I mean, maybe it is just clean house. I mean, just get rid of everybody. Like,
he said, I was surprised. So yeah,
I'm
you're
on
at the point where you're like, you know what? If Melvin goes because everyone goes,
like,
okay,
just get rid of him. Like Melvin, do I want him here next year as the manager? I do. I think he's the best Padres manager they've had since Buddy Black by a mile and a half, Grand Canyon style. But at this point, I'm sick of it. I think Padres fans are sick of it. And I hope Peter Seidler's sick of it, because that's the voice that matters the most here. And I'm just cleaning house, dude. I'm getting rid of everybody. This is unacceptable. We're done here. We're done. Newest
knock on Melvin, and I think what you said is accurate. I do think he's a good manager. I think he's highly accomplished. I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he did with last year's team. I don't think he's perfect, and that's fine. Nobody's asking him to be. It's a high-profile position, and it's under a microscope. But my new criticism or current criticism is he said 5 weeks ago, that's not going to happen on my watch. We played the audio yesterday of the Padres are not going to collapse down the stretch, but the Padres have collapsed down the stretch. Now, this isn't fully on Bob Melvin that you're batting Campusano, Batten, Rosario,
he has no choice.
Grisham.
There's no choice.
Right. So he's not doing that in an effort to we got to win the last 17 games and here's my lineup.
But I'm also like going in there today, and Trent Grisham isn't Manny Machado. Like, no one can go up to Manny Machado and say, hey, you weren't doing this, you weren't doing that. I'm sitting you for the game. Like, you can't do that to Manny. He's like the second most powerful person in this franchise. He calls the shots. If he wanted Bob Melvin fired tomorrow, he could get Bob Melvin fired tomorrow.
I don't see why I don't see how that's his motivation heading into the offseason.
I understand that. I'm just telling you, like, that's how much power he has. So Trent Grisham, like, dude, it's Trent Grisham. If I'm Bob Melvin, I'm like, yo, bro, that crap last night, you put me in a bad spot because you made me look bad. I had to try to cover for you. And frankly, I didn't fully cover for you because I said it was your call that you made. Because if I said it was my call and I laid down on that sword, I would look like an idiot. So for all that, like, I'm benching you tonight. You're done. You're not in the lineup. And maybe don't even talk to him. You just don't put him in the lineup. Put a Zokar in there. Screw it.
No, but I would say I understand what you're trying to prove. It's like how you parent. There's multiple ways that can be effective. Because you make a bad decision as an athlete in real time doesn't mean you need to be like put in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, bad decision. By the way, there have been a series of bad decisions in the exact same inning or the exact same game, maybe the bottom of the third inning. Michael Wacha didn't cover first base. Mm-hmm. It's the same level of egregiousness. You got to cover first base. They gave up a run. It was an easy double play. He just never got over. So, like, if you're going to punish Grisham, you should punish Wacha. If you're going to punish Wacha, you should punish Machado. If you're going to, like, it goes on and on and on. It's a team that has just gone sideways.
But Trent Grisham does not matter.
But that's not a reason to punish him.
That is a reason to punish him.
So wait, but you're not going to punish Machado because he matters, but you will punish Grisham because he doesn't?
You're not
what kind of precedent does that set?
You're not going to punish Machado because Machado has authority. You can't.
Then you're not proving any points.
Well, that's a Machado thing.
Okay, you got two kids. One of them you like, and the other one you don't. So the one that you like, because Machado has power. To your point, like if Machado doesn't run out of ground ball, which I'm all for, it's a long season and he plays a lot. Mm-hmm. To your point, they're not going to punish him. But if Grisham doesn't run out of ground ball, you should punish him. Like, it's not a good precedent to set.
I agree with you. But that is also how this franchise is structured. You have a guy in Manny Machado that is not going to have any repercussion for anything he does. And I'm not saying he did anything wrong last night. I'm just like giving you that's how Manny Machado is. It's not how Trent Grisham is.
He didn't do anything last night.
Yeah, he didn't do anything last night. But that's how Trent Grisham is. It's the opposite. And first, especially after you get roasted by the Dodgers in a way that was so public by not only just their manager, but by the starting pitcher. That right there is where it tips it way over the edge for me. And again, you're probably listening right now, and I'm sorry, but this to me was the tipping point of this season and many tipping points that I just lost my mind. If you know, the wrap-up show a couple years ago when I lost my freaking mind over Emilio Pagan against the Dodgers, nonetheless, at Dodger Stadium, that to me was also like a tipping point of all tipping points for the 2021 season where I just couldn't take it anymore. And last night, the Trent Grisham bunt, I just couldn't take it anymore.
You've snapped. There's no question about it. All right, the wrap is on the other side. We'll give away tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream in the 4 o'clock hour. 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. We'll give those away in the 4 o'clock hour. David J. Matt Friars, he will join us at 5:30. You'll hear from J.D. Wicker with Darren Smith earlier today on the possibility of the Pac-12 remaining intact and including San Diego State. Hour 2 of Jon and Jim is next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Third and final game between the Padres and Dodgers tonight at Dodger Stadium. It's also the final matchup between both teams for the rest of the year. 7:10 first pitch. Blake Snell on the mound tonight for the Padres. Moving over to other news with the team. Darvish has officially been shut down for the remainder of the season. Other news in baseball today, not good news for the Texas Rangers, as Max Scherzer, he has been shut down for the rest of the season. And the Aztecs take on Oregon State this Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. 10:30 a.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. And this update has been brought to you by Staples.
Are like real, but they can't actually attack you, John. You'll sue them or things. Yeah, but I'm gonna be like. San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? It's hour 2 of Jon and Jim. By the way, tonight at 6 p.m., even though we've told Jim obsessively to mention the Brady Hoke Show in each of his updates, he has failed to do it so far in 3 updates. The Brady Hoke Show with me and Rich Ornberger. Rich is gonna be mad, and so will Brady, and so will I.
I have it written down right here too. Brady Hoke Coaches Show. Maybe I should put
so
it
you know
all
how to
caps. Read. Yeah.
Brady maybe start the update.
Hoke Coaches Show tonight,
6 p.m.
Why won't you read?
Read it, you idiot.
6 p.m. You're going to hear from JD Wicker on the Pac-12, Oregon State, San Diego State, Washington State. Could they all be in the same league potentially in 2024? JD Wicker on the Darren Smith Show. If you missed that conversation, sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app, you'll hear from JD Wicker, a portion of that conversation at 4:30. Again, Brady Hoke Show coming up tonight at 4 p.m. Also, this hour, or 6 p.m., the 4 o'clock Hawaii time.
Yes.
Also, this hour, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. That's at SeaWorld San Diego. More info at SeaWorldSanDiego.com. We'll give those away during Trainwreck Radio. Jim told me at the break he's done with the Trent Grisham conversation.
I'm done.
An hour was enough. We spent more time on Trent Grisham's stupid bunt than we did on Game 5 of the NLCS last year. Actually, people gave us a hard time. After Game 5 of the NLCS, by day 2, people were like, you need to move on.
Right.
Yet nobody said that in the first hour of the show on Grisham somehow.
No.
Actually, some people might have on the text line.
Actually, on the text line, 70470, start your message with team. Just a couple texts here. Let me just pause it real quick. See here. 619 number says, great. Another 3 hours of Jim whining again.
Well, that's going to happen no matter what we're talking about.
619 number, Jim, respectfully, STFU. LOL. If Grish strikes out, a run doesn't score in that spot. I think he's joking because he put like a laughing face emoji.
But is he?
I hope you are. Because if you aren't, you don't know baseball.
Well, 858. See, I texted back to Jim last night. He's like, he bunted. I'm like, yeah, he's bunting for a hit. He's like, but he didn't get a hit. I'm like, yeah, I understand it, but he's bunting for a hit. He's not bunting to sacrifice. He's bunting for a hit. Someone put that from the 858. Said, well, if he's trying to bunt for a hit, then he just didn't execute. It's tough to bunt for a hit with the bases loaded, though.
Right? Yeah.
It forces every base.
If your mindset going up there, and I'm so done with this, but again, to respond to this 858 number, if your mindset going up to the plate with the bases loaded and no outs is let me try to bunt for a hit,
it doesn't make any sense.
You've already lost, and you shouldn't be playing baseball.
David J. Mad Friars will join us at 5:30. We have those Howl O Scream tickets to give away this hour during Trainwreck Radio, and let's get to this.
Is Saturday a must-be competitive game for the Aztecs?
So not a must win.
I think you should trademark that, by the way.
We're
What?
must be competitive.
Well, what do you need to see for the Aztecs on Saturday?
Well, I need to see them play better, but it's not they just have to be competitive and I'll be okay with it.
So what are you saying?
I want to see them go up to Corvallis and I want to see them win.
Well, okay, I understand what you're saying, but they're 25-point underdogs.
Probably not going to happen,
right? I mean, it's a pretty big number. So,
well,
like, if you're going to be upset on Monday, hey, the Aztecs lost, and that's your line of delineation. Well, they just lost the game, so I'm going to be upset. Well, they're 25-point underdogs.
Okay,
right?
I want them to be competitive. I want them to be a close game. I want them to be competent on offense. But like, would I still be happy when they come home with another loss? Like, I won't.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't.
Here's the thing. The point of asking it that way was, like, do you need to see a level of progress? Ask if it's just as simple as, hey, they got to win on Saturday. Well, they're going to Corvallis. They're playing the 16th best team in the nation, top 5 offense, top 5 defense. You could play your best game easily of the year and potentially not win the game. We'll see.
Lose still by 2 touchdowns.
We'll see because we haven't yet seen the game. So that's kind of the point. The other point for me is this: no matter what happens Saturday, same thing with last weekend, you got to be ready to go Friday night against Boise State. That's a big game once you get into the league. Those league games really do matter. You're trying to win a conference championship or at least play for one potentially in 2023. Yeah. So that's why I would actually argue whatever happens Saturday in Corvallis. I want to see improvement. So does Brady Hoke. You'll hear from him coming up at 6 p.m. But what I really want to see is then beat Boise State Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium. That's what I really want to see.
I just know that this program has now openly put themselves in the discussion of, like, we want to be one of the best, programs in the country. We want to compete. We want to compete at a high level. We want to compete at that Power 5 level whenever we hopefully get somewhere. So the expectation shouldn't just be, well, I hope we don't lose by 3 touchdowns and I hope we do better.
I agree with that. I'm just saying, heading into this week, this could be a tougher test than UCLA.
Oh, it'd be tough. It's going to be probably the toughest test of the season.
Year. So I know it's like, so are we going to read a lot into it on Monday? Probably,
yeah. I don't want to just dismiss games just to dismiss.
No, there's no dismissing. I think they've got a shot to be competitive based on what I even saw last week against UCLA, where they had missed opportunities. They have to take advantage of opportunities.
And even if they're perfect, they're probably still going to lose by 2 touchdowns.
Well, that's the point. Next question.
Should Trent Grisham play another game in a Padres uniform?
Well, I mean,
here we go. We're not talking about it.
I wrote this question before I said I wasn't going to talk about it anymore. I'll rephrase the question. Should Trent Grisham be on this team in 2024? Absolutely not.
Yeah, he's not going to be on this team in 2024. He's not. They have options in the outfield. They have center field options, including Fernando Tatis Jr. You got Juan Soto already in the outfield. You got some outfielders. Starting with Tatis and Soto, figure it out from there. Yeah. You got Tatis and Soto. He will not be a Padre in 2024. Watch. He'll be a Padre in 2024.
Oh, he'll be starting in center field for the Padres.
Right. Hitting cleanup. Next question.
Hitting 6 and laying down bunts.
Well, Aaron Rodgers playing another NFL playoff game in his career.
Ooh. Well, according to Aaron Rodgers today, he used the Batman line. What is it, Brent? It's darkest before the dawn. I will rise again. Okay. Kind of cringy, but I think we all agreed yesterday to see Aaron Rodgers go out like that. I don't think that's not something he wants to do. It depends if the Jets, I want to see how the Jets are this year. And then if they retain most of their roster, even if they upgrade and then Aaron Rodgers returns next year, then yeah, I can see him in a playoff game. But it all depends on how the Jets look this year without Aaron Rodgers. If the Jets look okay and competent and they can win 8-9 games and potentially sneak in as the final wild card in the AFC, then yeah, I think they can make the playoffs again with him as a quarterback.
I just think that there's a lot of question marks for a 40-year-old coming off an Achilles with the New York Jets.
I agree.
If you're a 30-year-old and you're coming off an Achilles and you're with,
it's tough.
Name a better franchise. The Philadelphia Eagles, okay, but a 40-year-old off an Achilles with the New York Jets, I can't guarantee. It's possible. I think he will play again. It's hard to say that he's definitely going to play in a playoff game again.
I don't think he's going to play another game, let
You
alone
know,
a playoff.
it's possible he doesn't.
Well, I'm looking at it this way. Like you said, he's going to be 40 in December. And he's at his age, he's going to sit a whole year. You know how many changes his old body can go through in that time?
Old body, so old.
I know.
Well,
40?
you know what I mean.
Crazy.
A lot can happen, with his age in that time period. And who knows? He might just have an entire year off and just decide, you know what? I'm just going to go do Jeopardy or something.
That's right.
Well, I had a whole year off and, maybe this is what I need and I don't need it. A lot of these guys don't know when to shut it off. And maybe he's just like, I don't need it.
What's his point here, you think, to finish his career? Is he trying to win another Super Bowl? Not happening. So he's a 4-time MVP,
Honestly,
one-time champ.
I think it's the same thing as Favre. I think he wants to beat Green Bay one more time, or not one more time. I think he wants to beat Green Bay like Favre did. Maybe. I don't think he's going to come out and say it, but I think that's what it is.
I think he doesn't want to go out like this.
But even heading into this year, what do you think he was trying to prove? That he can win a Super Bowl elsewhere?
Yeah, that he's good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that it was them, not him.
Yeah, interesting. All right, next question.
Is the Darvish deal now a really bad contract?
Okay, so what?
I didn't write that one.
What is a Ulkranen stress reaction? Is that how you?
He's got bone spurs.
But how do you say that word?
I don't know. He's got
bone spurs.
OLECRANON.
It's bone spurs.
Okay, well, that's a made up word then.
That's fine.
So he has that in his arm.
Yeah.
This is now 2 out of the last 3 years that he has ended his season with injury. The only season that he did well in, the Padres decided to give him a 6-year, $100+ million contract after as a 38-year-old. It's a horrible contract now. And it's just another example of this franchise, messing up and being incompetent.
This is a bad deal. I don't know how bad as of yet. They gave it to him as a 36-year-old. He just turned 37 26 days ago. So he signed the deal as a 36-year-old. He still has 5 years on the deal.
But this was his last year officially under the old contract. So they signed him to a 6-year extension.
No, 5-year extension, right? 5 years after this year.
I thought it was a 6-year extension.
6-year deal. 6-year deal.
Including.
I mean, I can confirm it.
Thought if they didn't sign this was his last year.
Well, it may have been, but he is under contract through what year? He's under contract through 2028. There's 5 more years. Okay. So this is year 1 of a 6-year deal. He's under contract through age 41. By the way, what he's owed the next 5 years, 16 mil, 21 mil, 16, 15, 15. It doesn't matter. It's an average of those numbers. So he's essentially owed 18 a year for the next 5 years, which isn't a crazy high number for a starter. But of course, you got to be more effective than he was in 2023. That's why I say it's a bad deal. I don't know how bad. I don't think it's crazy money. I do think it's crazy wishful to think he's anywhere near the Padres organization in 2028.
Yeah. I mean, in the chat here, Vito's 100% right on YouTube. It says regardless, it's a bad deal. Either way.
It's a bad deal. The question is, how bad is it?
It could be potentially very bad.
Yeah, because he might not have another good season.
No, and you're paying all this money to him when you could have used that money to throw at Blake Snell if you really wanted to.
If you wanted to, yeah. Hassan Kim.
And it just goes back to the decision making turning out to be horrible. Like, it's their jobs to make sure that these things don't happen. When you give out big time contracts, it better be right. And the Padres ended up giving out like 7 big contracts.
There's a lot of them.
And how many have really truly hit? Like, to where you could say definitively, that is an amazing deal. I don't care how much money that person's making.
I mean, I liked and still do like the Joe Musgrove deal. He's 30 or 31. He's owed 20 a year for the next 4 years. I know this has been a wasted year, under 100 innings. I still would like that deal. Jury's out on all the other deals. And by the way, on your rotation next year, which we've talked about, Snell out, Lugo's going to opt out per Kevin Acee. There's an expectation Lugo opts out. You have Musgrove off injury, you have Darvish off injury, and you have Michael Wacha.
Potentially.
Maybe, who's been bad in the second half.
Very bad.
So that's your rotation. I mean, man, this is the top ERA in the National League this year But if you don't have Josh Hader and you don't have Blake Snell and you got a 37-year-old Yu Darvish, and there's question marks everywhere with this pitching staff heading into 2024.
Yeah, like what deal on this team has been a good deal so far?
So give me the deals again. We're talking about Darvish, Musgrove, Machado, Bogarts, Tatis. Is there any other? Cronenworth,
Suarez.
Yeah, none of them is definitively great.
Nick Martinez, Drew Pomeranz.
None of them.
So yeah, zero.
Well, one of them.
Which one?
One was great. I'll give you a deal that was 4+ years that was spectacular.
It only turned out spectacular because of this season.
But it's a huge value. What they saw, the Ha-Seong Kim deal was how much total money?
28 or 27?
Yeah, they got that in 1 year.
But
they got that in 1 year.
I know, but I'm talking about like over the entirety of the deal.
Okay. But that was a good value.
Now I get it. Like 10-year deals, it never always is great for 10 plus years.
Rare.
But these are all like beginnings of the deal.
Yeah, that's the weird part about it. Right. You never had your good year. It's like the Pujols Angels situation. You never had your good year.
So all of these contracts that you just mentioned are all bad.
I wouldn't say the Musgrove deal is a bad contract.
It's not like overly great
as of yet, but there's a lot of time. The guy for back-to-back years was really good, and this year when healthy was really good.
Speaking of him, real quick, let me get your thoughts on what he said yesterday about potentially returning for like 1 or 2 more starts.
Well, he wants to throw 1 more inning. Was his line. He wants to be an opener or pitch 1 inning in relief. I think it's asinine, obviously. Mm-hmm. Why would you ever consider doing that? Now, he's not going to pitch again. He even said he'll be cautious, but he's feeling really good, and he'd like to get back out there. Of course, you could never consider it in a million years. It's one of the craziest things. If they actually allowed him to pitch in 2023 and something went wrong, can you imagine with 4 more years on the contract and pitching for what? To prove to yourself that you're capable of doing it? Well, then just go get ready for 2024. There's no way. Just like we said with Darvish, we're saying it again with Musgrove. There's no way on earth he pitches again in 2023. Correct? No matter what he says.
I hope so. And if he does, it goes back to even if he goes out there for another inning, which he wants to do, and he comes out clean, it's still the overall mindset of the organization to allow that to happen. And if he did get hurt, which God forbid he did,
right?
Then what do you do? Like, am I double? Then I'm double firing Preller. Like I'm do that, but you get my point. Is you don't want to mess with anything here. This season has already been a disaster as it is.
Yeah,
you think that him pitching for a couple more innings is
against the White Sox
is going to do anything?
Here's a great question in the chat. By the way, you can find us on YouTube. Jon and Jim 760. Just go to YouTube and search for Jon and Jim 760. We're on the iHeartRadio app, San Diego Sports 760 as well. Great question from Matt, who says, do you think Machado would have opted out? 5 years, 150 at his age. And what do you think he gets if he opts out, hypothetically? As in, forget this deal. If he now can opt out, right? That was the original deal. Off this season, is he opting out? And if he does, what is he getting?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is an amazing question.
Because, okay, so the thought process is, Manny, everything this year goes exactly how it's gone.
Yeah.
And he said at the beginning of the year, I'm opting out at the end of the season.
Right.
They don't give him a new contract. That he doesn't go to Peter Seidler, and Peter Seidler doesn't, drop to his, give him all the money in the world. Does he opt in because he knows that he can get 350 in the open market after this crappy season?
But that's not the question. The question is, can he get more than 5 for 150, which is what he's owed in this hypothetical? He's not, you know what I mean?
No, I know that.
So the question is, would he opt out at 5 150? He would, right? Could he get more than 150 off this year if he was in the final year of a deal right now?
Yeah, he'd still opt out then.
I think so too, right?
I think he would.
I would guess.
He'd want another 10-year deal.
He ain't getting 350 off.
He wouldn't
this
get 350.
Year. No.
But he would get like 250.
Yeah, you get that Bogarts deal maybe.
He would want that Bogarts deal because he can't have Bogarts being outpaid.
Right, exactly.
He can't have that guy making more money than him.
He's not getting. He's definitely not getting 350, but he's also likely opting out.
And if you know, you know.
I don't even know what you said.
Never mind.
What'd you say?
It doesn't matter.
Whatever you said, nobody knows what you're talking about. Okay. Say it again, or I'm going to listen back.
I was just talking about how Manny definitely does not want to have a contract lower than Xander Bogaerts.
All right. On the other side, you're going to hear from J.D. Wicker with Darren Smith earlier today. Could San Diego State still be headed to the Pac-12 to potentially join Oregon State and Washington State? And this hour during Trainwreck Radio, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. For more information, visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com. In the 5 o'clock hour, David J. from Mad Friars on the Padres organization this September, including some postseason races for a couple of clubs in the Padres organization. Up next, you'll hear from J.D. Wicker. Stay with us. J.D. Wicker with Darren Smith on the future of the Pac-12. That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. So I don't forget, the Brady Hoke Coaches Show is tonight right here on San Diego Sports 760 with Coach Hoke, John Schaefer, and Rich Orenberger, 6 p.m. San Diego Sports 760. Be there, Coaches Show, Brady Hoke. Also, the Aztecs, they take on Oregon State this Saturday afternoon, 12:30 kickoff, 10:30 pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. The final game of the season versus the Dodgers tonight in LA, 7:10 first pitch. Blake Snell on the mound for the Padres. Yu Darvish, also, he has been shut down for the rest of the season. And this update's been brought to you by Staples.
All right, we've got a 4-pack of tickets to Howl O Scream at SeaWorld. We'll give those away this hour. Still to come next hour, David J. from Matt Friars. He will join us at 5:30. And we will talk about Fort Wayne. They're in the postseason. San Antonio's in the playoffs, right? People are talking about San Antonio like they're the Padres.
I saw the Sod Pools make it, right? Is that San Antonio?
No, the Sod Poodles aren't a Padres affiliate.
Oh, that's right. They
I
weren't.
remember my first time watching minor league baseball. They used to be.
That's what I.
Yeah. Hey, I saw the New York Yankees aren't very good. Yeah, they're not the Padres. hey, the Eagles won. Yeah, who cares? They're not the San Diego Chargers.
Oh, no. You didn't think it was weird how we stopped getting Sod Poodle shirts?
Right.
Yeah.
Because now they're right. Okay. AA affiliate of the Padres, San Antonio Missions.
Correct.
Used to be the Sod Poodles of Amarillo.
Yes.
AAA affiliate right now is El Paso. Mm-hmm. 2 single-A affiliates. Cal League is Lake Elsinore, and Midwest League is Fort Wayne.
So you're really good with this stuff.
But that can change.
Yeah.
You don't know the minor league affiliates of the Padres?
No, I do.
You're getting benched.
No,
like Grisham.
I
DFA'd. You don't. 5 seconds ago, you're like, Sod Poodles I got my Sod Poodles tickets for tonight.
I got mixed up there. Sorry.
I wonder who their affiliate is actually right now.
Oh, no.
I'm looking.
You're Mr.
Well, I worked in the
minor leagues.
Oh, the Diamondbacks.
Oh, great.
You should go.
Maybe I will.
All right, a couple of things. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. If you missed JD Wicker with Darren Smith, make sure to check it out. iHeartRadio app, sportssd.com. They did touch briefly on the situation that San Diego State's going through this weekend, staying in Portland that we had talked about yesterday, staying in Portland, driving to Corvallis because the hotel they were supposed to stay at in Eugene burned down. But it will be back open later this year. They also touched on the situation that's playing out right now with Oregon State and Washington State, right? Could San Diego State still be headed to the Pac-12? This was to J.D. Wicker earlier today from Darren Smith. Is there interest in Oregon State and Washington State from the Mountain West perspective?
Yeah, no, we've definitely got interest in Oregon State and Washington State and where they're going to be at the end of this year. I'll see Scott Barnes, who's the athletic director of Oregon State, on Saturday. We've been texting back and forth. We'll definitely have time to talk on Saturday while we're up there. And, the big thing for them is they've got to figure out, there's a lot of legal issues right now to get through to, understand who controls the conference, how you can control it. And then there's, a lot to unpack there, assets and liability wise. You've got a network that I think has 30 employees that has carriage agreements with different, different cable companies. There's a couple lawsuits that they're involved in. So there's a lot of different things that Washington State and Oregon State truly need to figure out with the Pac-12. But I like the idea of, however it works out, of flying under that Pac-12 banner. I mean, that's the casual sports fan perks up when they hear Pac-12, whether it's the Pac-12 of today or what the Pac-12 might be later. So my hope is that, the stars align correctly, the financials work out, well to where it makes sense for the Pac-12 to continue as a going concern. And, teams are going into that conference and you're part of the Pac-12.
All right, J.D. Wicker, earlier today. What's interesting here to me, and correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Oregon State, Washington State, and San Diego State are going to be in a league together, right? Oregon State and Washington State have to play games against teams. They can't just play themselves for forever.
No.
Right? So
they can't just go back and forth.
Yeah, they're not going to play 12 football games against each other. They're not going to play 30 basketball games against each other, and so on and so forth. So I don't know if it's going to be called the Mountain West or the Pac-12. I thought JD Wicker made a really interesting point. He made this similar point with us this weekend. You weren't there. You were there, but you had left because we didn't let you interview him.
Right. You said, get out of here.
Right. But he said something similar, which is he sees value in the Pac-12 brand. And the other point there is this. I agree. But the question is, are you taking all of the Mountain West schools and having them join Oregon State and Washington State? Or are you just taking some of the Mountain West schools?
Some.
That's the key distinction for me.
I can't take all of the schools, because if you take all the schools, that dilutes the conference.
Right. That's well said. That's exactly right. So if you just take like San Diego State, Fresno State, Boise State, and then you maybe there's someone else out there, and now you got this like trimmed down 8-team league, maybe there's some value in there from a media perspective, from a championship perspective. If you just take everyone and add them to the fold, I'm with you. It's not the same effect. So I'll say this. If you're an Oregon State or Washington State fan, you need answers. You don't even know you're playing in football next year. You don't know who's in your league. By the way, Ben Fadden Talking Friars is making fun of you right now.
Breaking news.
Right.
Okay. So
he said you're an idiot because you didn't know the Sod Poodles were not a Padres affiliate.
Awesome.
It's like the worst offense of your life.
I don't care.
So we'll see about this weekend. San Diego State, Oregon State. Oregon State's a really good program right now. 16th in the nation. Can they keep it going if they're no longer quote unquote Power 5? Do you want them in the same league as San Diego State? I do. It's going to be tough to get through them, by the way, next year. Programs like Oregon State, as soon as next year. Associate with programs having as much success as possible. I think that elevates all. I think it, like, what do they say? Rising tide lifts all boats. So I think it's a good thing.
I agree with you that if you're in a better conference, that should be kind of like a wake-up call to be better. Like, you have to be better at recruiting. You have to find good quarterback play. You have to be good in the transfer portal. You have to be better with NIL. Like, all of it will, by being in a conference with better teams, up all of those things that you need to do to be a good,
to win at that level.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, if you have those two teams in a conference with you, along with the best of the rest of the Mountain West, that should force you as a program to have to be better.
You know how I make like guarantees on air, but they don't. We never follow up on them, but I'm usually.
You make guarantees?
Well, I'll be like, I guarantee that Colorado wasn't going to be a playoff team yesterday.
You do guarantee a lot of stuff.
I'll make because I feel that strongly about it.
Like, I guarantee you this player will be this. I guarantee you this. I guarantee you that.
Here's a guarantee. If Oregon State and Washington State are in the same league as these Mountain West schools, a handful of them, the winner of that league next year will be in the college football playoff. Ain't going to be some program from the AAC or the Sun Belt or Conference USA or the MAC. The winner of the league that has Oregon State, Washington State, Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State, that team next year will be in the expanded playoff. You like that guarantee?
Okay.
You're not worried. Anyway, our pregame coverage on Saturday is going to begin at 10:30 in the morning, 12:30 kickoff.
You think I make it?
I texted Jim about that. Saturday, pregame at 10:30. I'm like, is he going to be awake?
I will be.
Okay.
Maybe you should just sleep in the studio.
Just to be sure.
Have you ever done that before, Brent?
Not at this studio, but I have before, yeah.
I have done that before, too.
Have you?
Yeah. I have.
Why even have a place? You could just stay here.
There was a time where it was like kind of looking like I might have had to stay here for a little while before I found a place to live. But
a couple times I'd have to do it with like, would have basketball or something and go late.
Right.
And it was supposed to snow. So it's either I would just sleep there or I'd have to come back in 3 hours because I'd have to leave
Wisconsin was going to
snow.
snow.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. We've had early pre-games. We had a Boise State football game in Carson that started at 9 a.m., which means our pregame show started at 7. Have we ever? That's about as early as it's gone. Maybe some Maui stuff. We've had some early pre-games before, 7, 8 in the morning.
See, that's fine.
Can you do 7 a.m. pre? If we had to do a 7 a.m. pre?
Yeah, I'd be here.
Okay.
But when I had to be at the station at like 4:30, 4:45 at the latest, there were times where I contemplated that, like, should I just go in and sleep in the studio?
Right.
Because
then you're there. Someone will wake you.
Yeah,
you're not oversleeping.
There's no point in going to bed because I'm a night owl to begin with.
Yeah,
there's no point in like trying to go to bed at midnight.
I know. If you have to wake up a couple hours later
and being up at 4 a.m. and then having to get ready, and it takes another 20 minutes to get to work. So yeah, there were times where I was like, dude, I'm just gonna go sleep in studio.
Now, hold on. Was this when you were producing a morning show or when you were working like NFL games here? Because NFL games here would start like back in the day, right? If there was like a 10 a.m. NFL game, the pregame would start hours and hours and hours before, right?
That's when I was that's when I was put on as like another producer when I was with Dan Cilio.
Wait, say this again.
I was put on his show as like an extra producer, and the show started at 5 a.m. I'm like, oh god, and I had to be there. Like, I did actually. I was late a couple times because, like,
which show do you prefer? Do you prefer being the Dan Cilio show or Jon and Jim?
It's a great question, John.
Answer that on the other side.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Was it interesting?
Oh, it was very interesting. It was a lot. Yeah.
Okay. We probably won't get into that on the other side. What we will do though is the first two callers, 844-570-1360. You will be our contestants for a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream at SeaWorld San Diego. You want to call right now. This is a great giveaway. 4-pack of tickets. Great giveaway. 844-570-1360. First two callers will be contestants. And then the winner of Trainwreck Radio is going to win those tickets. We have sports trivia on the other side. Call right now. 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. 844-570-1360. That's next. All right, on the other side, we'll give away those 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego, Howl O Scream, plus David J. from Mad Friars. We'll take a look at the Padres system this September. Stay with us. All right, David J. Mad Friars will join us coming up at 5:30. We're getting you ready for Blake Snell's start tonight against the Dodgers. The Padres lineup is somewhat uninspiring, but we'll see if they can win for Blake Snell tonight. And yeah, eliminate the word somewhat.
And add like extremely.
Right. Yeah, good point. So we'll get you ready for that coming up at 5 p.m. Again, David J. at 5:30. Brady Hoke Show, 6 p.m. Me and Rich.
Correct.
Even though you completely buried that earlier.
Nope. I remembered eventually.
I know you did. Okay, we have a couple of really good giveaways today. We're going to give one away in a moment during Trainwreck Radio. That's the 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. 5 o'clock hour. Don't go anywhere. We've got a pair of tickets to the Pacific Air Show to give away. It returns to Huntington Beach Friday, September 29th to Sunday, October 1st. It's bringing more sky-high action and nonstop thrills than ever before. GA tickets only $25 plus booking fees. PacificAirshow.com. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
What are you laughing at?
Just start the show.
What are you laughing at?
I can't tell you. I'll tell you off air.
All right, let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's contestants, we have Sergio and Manny. Sergio, you called in first, so you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
I'm going to go with John.
All right, so Sergio and John.
You've been picked first like the last
100 times.
I'm just going to stop
days.
asking people.
I know.
Manny, you get me, all right?
Yeah.
Manny, are you in a forklift?
He said, yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. You get me. Brent, what is today's question of the day?
All right, we've been talking about what's left of the Pac-12. Well, today's question, who are the top 10 all-time leading passers based on career yardage in Pac-12 history? So we're looking for the quarterbacks with the most passing yardage in Pac-12 history.
I like that question.
All right, I got a couple names. Manny, you are up first. What is your first guess? And you do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
You know, I'm gonna go with the lifeline first.
Okay. I'm going to give you Matt Leinart. Will you take that?
Who?
All right.
Matt Leinart?
Matt Leinart.
Matt Leinart.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. Wow.
He's 12th.
Wow. Pac-12, man. There are some names.
I was what? Okay.
Because career yardage too. I mean, he was probably what, a 3-year guy, 2-year starter?
03 to 05.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
right,
that's a
he left
factor.
early.
That's a factor.
Pete Carroll's like, "Why are you leaving early?"
Yeah, it's a factor.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
you
Manny.
are such an idiot. All right, Sergio, you're up.
What do you got, Sergio?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna use my lifeline.
Oh man!
All right, you
help
said
John.
Well, how about you said Leinart. How about Barkley? 8SC. Matt Barkley.
You take that, Sergio?
Yeah, let's go with Barkley. Let's go with Barkley.
I was very nervous. By the way,
it's number 3 on the list.
Matt,
number 3. Yeah, because he started for a long time.
Oh my god! All right, Manny. I'm sorry, buddy. What's your next guess? You don't have your lifeline. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Cow Bear, Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Great guess.
Good guess.
On the list.
Yes. Sergio, you're up next. What's your second guess? And you don't have your lifeline, so it's up to you.
Let's see. Let me go with God. I don't even know. I'm just gonna go out here. It's a delayed Cole Brennan with Hawaii. I don't know.
I love that guess. Not Pac-12. It would be on the list if you played in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Great guess.
All right, Manny. Final guess. What do you got? You don't have your lifeline.
You didn't get the first Trojan right, but you know I'm gonna go with another. I'm gonna say Carson Palmer.
Yep, that's a good guess.
Wow.
Yeah, I should have gone Carson Palmer.
You should have.
I should have. I'm an idiot. All right, Sergio. To send this thing into overtime, you need this to go to overtime. You don't have your lifeline. What do you got?
I'm gonna go on a limb. I want to say Jake Plummer.
Jake
At
Plummer.
ASU, love that name.
Jake Plummer.
Is he on the list? Top 10, Jake Plummer.
I don't know. I'm just.
No, he's not. That's a great guess.
Great guess, though.
Sergio loses. Manny wins.
Oh, man.
All right. Who is it? This is probably a ridiculous list. We already gave you some.
Half and half.
Is it half and half? Okay.
Number 1 on the list is Luke Falk.
Oh, he Washington State. This is Mike Leach stuff, probably.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yep. And then number 2 is Sean Mannion.
Mannion. Yes.
From Oregon State.
Yeah.
Then Barkley is 3. Jake Browning from Washington.
Yeah,
he
great
was
name.
4.
Mm-hmm.
Golf was 5. Palmer was 6. Connor Holiday from Washington State.
Oh, yes.
He was 7. Derek Anderson, not the one that played for the Spurs. He was 8. Alex Brink.
Okay, so this is an interesting list.
And Steve Hartman's favorite name to critique you on.
I know it is.
Go for it.
Marcus, don't call me Mariota. Mariota.
Okay. I was going to say, who'd you get wrong? What you were
He
wrong
said
with
Leinart.
Leinart.
He was 12.
I could have said also like Aaron Rodgers, but
yeah,
he only played a
Gardner Minshew. He probably started for a year or two.
Neither one of them.
Just name a USC quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And they could Caleb Williams, but he's only going to start there 2 years.
Yeah,
but his numbers are obviously filthy. All right, well,
McNown's on the list.
Congratulations to Manny, because you have won that 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. With every twist and turn, death-defying drop, all new special effects, and more scares in 4 terror-filled houses will give you something to scream about. There's even more dark magic lurking around every corner with electrifying and mesmerizing live entertainment. The screamiest event of the season is now at SeaWorld San Diego's Howl O Scream, starting September 29th through October 31st. Only select nights. For more information, visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com.
Jake Plummer is 33rd, by the way. I just found
Good name, though.
Hey, I like Jake the Snake.
Yeah. Good name.
Very good name. All right, Padres, Dodgers, they will play again tonight. It's game 3 of a series. Why are both Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts sitting? Plus David J. Mad Friars. He will join us at 5:30, and we'll give away that pair of tickets to the Pacific Air Show in the 5 o'clock hour as well. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, Dodgers, final game between the two this year tonight, 7:10 first pitch at Dodger Stadium. Blake Snell is on the mound tonight for the Padres. Other news with the Padres today, Darvish has been shut down officially for the rest of the year. And tonight, 6 p.m. is the Brady Hoke Coaches Show with John, Rich, and Coach Brady Hoke, 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. And remember, this weekend, San Diego State takes on Oregon State in Corvallis, 12:30 kick. Our pregame coverage starts at 10:30 a.m. And this update has been brought to you by Staples.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? It's hour 3 of Jon and Jim. David J. from MadFriars.com will join us at 5:30. We'll talk about Padres affiliates in the postseason this September. Say that 3 times. David J. Mad Friars.
No.
Will join us at 5:30. Jim's back pages ahead. We have Pacific Air Show tickets to give away. 2 things I was thinking of after hearing that update or that open. Someone on the text line said it yesterday. We never got to it. They sell something called like a boo chain at SeaWorld for Hallow
Scream, yeah.
Yes. And the reason they do that is for like maybe like children that don't want the live actors to come up to you and like scare you.
Are you gonna wear one?
Right. Like typically I think it's for children, but I'm happy to get that. I would buy a boo chain and then I would go to all the terror houses or whatever, and I would really have
give you one. They'll
a
just
great time.
Special.
What if there was like an age limit on that thing?
Well, what's the limit? I'm not 100.
Just bring Jones. Get it for him and take his boo screen.
Jones is not dealing with, I don't think, like people with like gore and
I can't even imagine Jones there. It would be a disaster.
I think he'd like it just because he'd like eating food and like I don't think he wants to do it actually. It's not for children. Is it for children or adults?
He would never sleep again.
Both, I think.
It's for both.
He'd be awake for the rest of his life.
I don't think it's for 4-year-olds.
I don't think so either.
Howl O Scream doesn't scream 4-year-olds to me.
What scares you more, the idea of the haunted houses or your wife finding out you gave your kid meat?
I do think Jones will one day. He's going to eat.
Oh, he's
meat.
totally gonna.
Here's the thing: you're going to go to a birthday party.
Instead of being drugs, he's going to sneak off to like Mickey D's and be eating quarter pounders.
Cheeseburger.
Well, I'm not going to stop him if he goes to a friend's birthday party and they've got pepperoni pizza. I'm not going to like rush the party and like
pick
throw
all
the
pieces
pizza
off of it.
Like gross. Ew, Dad.
No, and I don't want him to revolt against being a vegetarian. He doesn't even know he's a vegetarian. Isn't that sad?
Because you never have given him anything.
He doesn't know what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just doesn't eat.
He's going to be like, he's going to in school one day. Like, you're right, Brent. He's going to be in school. Someone's going to be eating like a cheeseburger. And he's going to be like, what is that over there? And he's going to try it. And he's going to have that like moment
he's just
of
gonna come home and be like, you lied to me.
Like, what did I just taste?
Dude, his teacher yesterday told me,
He said chickens were gross. They're delicious.
His teacher yesterday was like, are you guys vegetarians? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, because he's the only kid in school that has tofu. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We literally give him just plain blocks of tofu in this little like lunch box.
Why don't you just give him white bread?
Is that like illegal? It's probably like child.
That is so
Isn't that sad?
on every level
right now.
I'm just picturing you and Kristen in his like cool Hot Toys like lunchbox, slapping a giant thing of tofu in there, and him opening it up at school.
It's not
and
even
everyone's
like season.
Everyone else is
doing?
eating snack packs.
Yeah, everyone's got burgers
tasty
and fries and chicken fingers and hot dogs, and he's got a square tofu piece. It's not even seasoned. It's not even part of anything. It's just
look at it this way: he'll never have to worry about anyone stealing his lunch.
Oh my
no,
God.
that's exactly right, dude.
Someone's gonna steal it and be like, what is this?
Here,
And like,
you can have it back.
Like, I don't want this. He's gonna just like throw up or something.
He tried to poison me.
I feel bad. I mean,
Oh, I feel bad for you.
he gets other good things. Don't get me wrong.
Like what? Give me one thing besides cookies, because it
I
seems
don't
like you don't
Can
give
he have sugar?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a big like dessert guy, and I
Okay.
would be too if I don't get to eat anything fun all day.
That's your fault,
I blame Kristen, man. I don't know. I really
Kristen.
don't.
Let's not put giant blocks of tofu in the kids' lunch anymore, okay? maybe switch it.
Dude, he's gonna be 17.
Maybe switch it up a little bit, and like I don't know, make him like a PB&J.
He gets that. He does get that. But like you're right, he's gonna be like 17, a senior in high school. He's gonna be sitting alone at his table because he's just sitting there with a big block of tofu. Nobody wants to sit with a kid. eating
Nobody wants to
tofu.
sit at the table with a weird tofu. Kid.
Right?
Jones,
My friends never had that. And I'm the guy that makes him. My friends never had blocks of tofu at lunch. They were buying cafeteria food or bringing PB&Js, like Dunkaroos,
you're
like
gonna
cool
make
things.
Jones the tofu kid. He's the tofu kid. Blocks of tofu.
Wasn't there like that Justin Timberlake sketch where he was like a block of tofu?
Oh yeah,
Like he was like vegan guy or something.
taking him down a
vegan,
vegan.
yeah,
a
exactly.
vegan town.
That's
or
gonna be
whatever it was,
Jones.
Yeah.
He's gonna be Justin
But he-
Timberlake.
Probably not,
Maybe not.
but
All right.
still, tofu kid. Sorry, Jones.
David J. Mad Friars 5:30 Pacific Air Show tickets to give away between now
Blocks of tofu.
and it's he's 4 though, so nobody really. We're not at the
Like,
point where anyone realizes
I'm
what
just-
he's doing.
I'm just picturing you guys going to the store and getting like just those giant blocks of tofu
That's
in
what
the
we got.
plastic. In the
Yeah,
plastic.
and then you open them up and there's like water in there.
You just give them
And
that.
no,
straight
no,
up.
we don't give them that straight up. We like cut it with a knife. We cut it again, and then boom, there's your block of tofu.
They use
See you
cookie
5.
cutters and give him star-shaped tofu.
Exactly. What's wrong with you?
It might be illegal. I have no idea.
What's wrong with you?
I don't think it's fine.
It might be illegal.
I don't. It's food. We're not
Why are you-
feeding him.
But you're giving him tofu.
He seems to like it. He eats it.
Bro.
We come home, it's gone. Maybe he's throwing it in the trash. I have no
His
clue.
teacher is asking you
He's
like,
withering away
like
because he just
your
keeps-
kid is having problems here because
He can
He's
barely
open-
pick up a pencil because he has no strength.
he's opened up his lunchbox every
Dude.
single day with the hope of something other than tofu, but it's
No.
tofu every day.
No, that's not what's happening. By the way, Cam Newton was like a vegan, or might be. And look how big and strong he was. NFL quarterback. Look at me, man, on the YouTube stream. Right?
Jones has a Make-A-Wish Foundation that one day he can eat food off the chat.
No,
from
we're
Matt.
not. Stop. We're not doing. Okay, here. That's a good segue. Okay,
For food. He just wants food, not tofu.
he has food.
He is a vegan, but he wasn't always a vegan. Cam Newton.
Okay, thank you.
Only a couple years.
Padres Dodgers.
Perfect
Okay.
segue.
And we're not talking about Trent Grisham anymore. That's over and done with.
Oh, it's done. If you missed
Now
it,
what?
hour
Go
one.
back to hour 1. Please listen. SportsSD.com, iHeartRadio app. Find us on YouTube, Jon and Jim 760. What we are talking about is the Padres lineup. Jim earlier was like Trent Grisham can't be in it. He is in it. That's not really the point right now. The point is the lineup they are fielding. No Machado. He has not played in the field in September. It's now September 13th.
Really? I didn't know that. I thought he has like at least one game.
Again, he's got an elbow injury that needs to be fixed, but they're
Hey.
not going to fix it until the end of the season.
Well, or until he gets 30 home runs.
Okay, same thing. Then you got Xander Bogaerts, who I didn't realize he hasn't been off since June 22nd. Okay, he could probably get a blow. But game 3 against the Dodgers with tomorrow being an off day, I don't know.
His numbers in September, as
He's
far
been
as batting
very
average,
good.
very good.
Yeah. He's honestly been good in September. He's had a lot of hits in September.
Would you say? Because I do think there is a difference between a loud like 400 and a quiet 400. or
400
whatever, whatever he's hitting.
Oh, in September?
Yeah.
No, he's actually had meaningful. But you were away for a couple of days where he had like 4-hit game, followed by 3-hit game, followed by 3-hit game.
Oh,
Homer the other day. I think he's been fine. No, I think he's been good in September. I don't think it's been soft.
Okay.
I don't. I would tell you if I thought it was. I don't think it has.
I mean, I pay attention to the team, obviously, but like the in-depth, like, oh, this guy's doing this, that's doing that. Not so much.
No, I'm with. Listen, it's over and done with. We'll look back in his year and say it was a disappointing year. There have been moments. I thought April was good. Mm-hmm. It actually was, and they were fine in April. They were a 500 team in April. September, I think he's been good. It's obviously meaningless at this point. So no Machado, no Bogarts. Then you look at this lineup tonight, and obviously if you don't have Machado and you don't have Bogarts, your lineup's not going to be very good. It is Ha-Seong Kim, Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, great. And then Luis Campusano, Jurickson Profar, Garrett Cooper, Trent Grisham, Matt Batten, Eggy Rosario. For Blake Snell, who is like a very good shot of winning the Cy Young, this is Dodger Stadium. I mean, not exactly the best lineup you can field for a guy that's vying for a Cy Young, is it?
Probably the worst lineup you could field.
Right?
Probably the worst. Still have Trent
Are
Grisham
they
in there.
a dog tonight with Blake Snell on the mound?
They have to be.
Against a rookie pitcher with that lineup, they have to be, right?
Have to be.
You know, if you're Snell, is this just running through your mind that 80% of my starts, I get 0 run support when we have everyone in the lineup? Right. Now tonight, we're pretty much going to trot out there a glorified AAA lineup. And so what? I have to pretty much throw a shutout then tonight, right?
Dodgers are favored. Against minus 120.
Yeah, that's not a surprise at all.
A rookie Dodgers starter is favored against the Cy Young, favorite,
right,
at Dodger Stadium. Because, well, you look at that lineup and the way the Padres have played.
Yeah, they suck. I mean, want me to be more blunt?
No, that's as blunt as you need to be, I think.
Yeah, the Padres, they suck. They're bad. They're really bad. What do you think will happen tonight? Do you think anything like will I blow up at
lose your mind? Yeah,
like is there anything that you could predict that I would lose my mind over?
I'll give you. There's 2 things that could happen tonight that will make you go off. You're gonna say, "Told you on Snell." Okay, big spot.
No, I won't. I won't do that.
You won't do that. He goes 3 innings, 6 runs. No, told you.
No.
Okay. There's that possibility. The other possibility would be, how can you field this lineup when Blake Snell goes 6+ innings, doesn't allow a run, and you don't win? Maybe.
No. I'm trying to think. Of
the other possibility is they load the bases with nobody out and Trent Grisham bunts.
Then I'll lose my
right.
I almost cursed there. I'll lose my mind.
Right.
Yeah, I will lose my mind again at that thing. It's like, wait, what again? He did it again. He doubled down.
Right.
He's
exactly.
He's like trying really hard to get that bunt down, trying really hard to get that hit.
Right.
With the bases loaded and nobody out. Yeah, I can't think of after the blow up that I had with Trent Grisham and last night and for the first hour of the show, I do feel like better. Like sometimes you need to
get off your chest.
You just need to get it out.
Yeah.
Like this whole season has been such a disaster, and for like little when you just like keep a lot of things in, right, and you don't communicate them, and then the littlest thing sets you off, like you stub your toe or you drop something, or you know what I mean, like the littlest tiny thing in your life just makes you lose your mind, and in the grand scheme of things, you're like, dude, you just stubbed your foot or whatever the case may be. Like, why are we getting so upset about this?
That was you last night.
That was me with this Padres team last night.
I get it. It's like everyone reaches a boiling point.
Yeah.
And all Padres fans have reached their boiling point with this team. And again, the only real reason to watch is, for me at least, and I agree with your overall point. I don't feel like Blake Snell vying for a Cy Young is like, Clayton Kershaw as a Dodger who spent his whole career there is vying for a Cy Young at the end of his career. Like Blake Snell's in his 3rd year with the Padres. The first 2 were up and down. The third's been really good, but the team isn't good. So this isn't going to be like the most memorable pitching performance in Padres history, I wouldn't say, 2023.
No.
Right? I mean, it's a nice year, but we've been talking about the fact that he could be a Dodger next year, or he could be a Giant. So you celebrate your Cy Young by returning as a visitor. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit of a weird dynamic that has played out for the Padres. I forget where I was going with that.
With Blake Snell and potentially winning a Cy Young in a year that is wasted and being on a different team next year and coming back to Petco Park and getting a Cy Young plaque with another team. And then
but the point of like these next couple of weeks obviously aren't the most meaningful games. I think if you're an ardent or diehard fan, of course you're watching because that's who you are. And I think for others, they've moved on to like the Aaron Rodgers story or the NFL or college football or whatever it's going to be, or the NBA today saying that they want their stars to play a higher percentage of games, right? Or will Aaron Rodgers play again in 2024? We're all the interesting thing about that is like we talk so much local sports, right? Obviously. And even in a market, even as good of a Padres market as this is, and it's a good one, okay? They've marketed really well. They've been very successful in the market. But even saying that, at some point, even the most ardent fan is like, oh, I'm watching Colorado this weekend. Or I'm watching Vikings Eagles on Thursday.
It's already happened.
Right? Of course.
It's already 100% happened. NFL is back.
Yep.
There is no question in my mind. If you give, and this happened Sunday, I bet you the ratings for the Padres game was probably the lowest of the season
because of all the NFL games up against it
and the timing of the game.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree.
Like you could have told me that in that game they hit 12 consecutive home runs. It would not have even mattered.
You're right. Now, of course, if they were good, it still would. If they were trending towards a division title or something,
right? Because you keep your eye on it,
definitely.
And you obviously watch it. Like if you're in a pennant race, a division race against the Dodgers, you're a couple games back, and you need this game. Like obviously, it's going to matter,
right?
But man, the cliff that they just jumped off of, as far as what's the word I'm looking for? Interest. It's a steep one. Like, it's a straight 90-degree angled nosedive as far as interest goes for this team. And like, if I'm Peter Seidler, man, like
you're noticing that.
You have to notice that.
Well, a year ago, last September, I mean, I think back on, the Padres' final 2 weeks of the regular season, then October, obviously, was a really good period. But even before that, it's like the season's on the brink. It's hanging in the balance.
Always in it.
Yeah, Bob Melvin, flipped over a table. I don't know if he did, but there was that night in Arizona where it
was a bumpy ride.
It was a bumpy ride, but September was really relevant for the Padres. Where I kid you not, like right at this point, you got to have one eye on Thursday night NFL this weekend. San Diego State, Oregon State, Colorado football, the Aaron Rodgers thing, which I thought was a little overly dramatic when he said "I shall rise again" or whatever in his Instagram post.
Very cringy
earlier today.
It's very cringy. Very, very.
Right?
Very
You tour in Achilles, and your direct quote is "The night is darkest before the dawn, and I shall rise yet again." And that's from something, obviously,
from The Dark Knight.
Okay, like you tore your Achilles.
Yeah,
but people but
that's the thing.
Trying to make ends meet.
But I know where you were going is like,
there's other things that draw your attention.
Almost anything else on TV that's interesting. I think even some of the most diehard Padres fans, through thick and thin. Hey, we still have a chance.
No,
are like, I'll watch something else.
And even like tonight, I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm like, oh, yesterday was Tuesday, today's Wednesday. Jim fact. But I'm like, oh, there's no football on.
I know.
Like sometimes you get in the middle of the season and you get some college stuff in the middle of the week. We always get NFL on Thursday, Friday, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, tonight's Wednesday. Even last night, and I said this on the Fusion maybe earlier. I'm like, I was on my couch at like 8:40 last night, dead time. I just fell asleep in like the fifth inning. It was 7-2. I'm like, I know I need to wake up.
Yeah.
Because we're going to do a wrap-up show. I'm like, I can't. This is hard to watch. It's putting me to sleep.
That's the worst thing you could say about a team.
It literally put me to sleep.
Is that you guys are putting people to sleep.
It's 9-2, Jim, in the fifth. You know what I mean? Like, what are we there for?
Trent Grisham bunting with the bases
It was
loaded.
after that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need a nap.
I no joke. I turned it off after the Grisham bunt. I think I waited for maybe like another half inning or so.
Didn't you watch what's the name of the show?
I watched Ahsoka again. So I watched it like twice last night because it was so freaking good.
Can I mention this then? So Jim, he's mad about Grisham. We do a wrap-up show. It's late at night. He's like, watch this stream. He sends me the Ahsoka YouTube stream of a channel, YouTube channel that does stuff on Star Wars.
His name is Star Wars Theory. That's his channel name.
So I clicked on it. And first of all, I went back. You're going to be amazed by this. I went back because I told you, but I went back a couple of times. I found myself watching it, no joke, for like 15 minutes because I'm like, what are these people doing? Because it's like a complete foreign world to me. They're like talking about Star Wars.
Yeah. And
people are donating money and all this stuff. This is fine. But when the episode launched, so he launched his stream like an hour before and they're talking about it. The episode is on, right? And everyone's, and guess what he's doing while the episode is on? He's watching it. So you're looking at a human being watching a show that's saying nothing. Like if we were doing a Padres Dodgers like stream, we'd be like, oh my gosh, Grisham struck out. This is crazy. I watched for 5 minutes. He was just sitting there watching it.
Welcome to
they're called reaction videos.
Yeah,
John.
Welcome to reaction video YouTube.
I love reaction videos. I watch them all the time.
So does he react in real time, or does he just sit there and watch it and then afterwards?
So what he does is, so he doesn't get a copyright claim or whatever.
Right.
Is he watches the video or he watches the show?
He's got
and he has the timer on the screen.
Yeah, what was the timer all about?
If you can link it up with him and watch,
you can watch the show with him.
So he'll count down like I'm starting in 30 seconds. I'm starting in 15 seconds.
And so then you press play wherever you're at, right? And then you can watch his reaction while you're watching Ahsoka or whatever show you want to do.
Dude,
it is a whole new world.
Mind blown
for you.
Mind blown.
And in my opinion, the best reaction videos are the ones that don't talk too much.
No, that's what this guy was.
The ones, there's certain ones that they will sit there and just
you've unlocked Brent.
Talk.
Yeah,
I know you should.
I said Brent. I said last night Brent needs a channel.
There's ones that they will just talk through the whole thing and they'll ask questions. It's like, well, if you just shut up for 2 seconds, they'll answer your question, and they get annoying. So,
anyway, it's gotten so bad for the Padres. I'm watching YouTube channels centered around Ahsoka or whatever it's called.
Ahsoka.
Right.
By the way, last night's episode was
awesome.
Absolute cinema. As Brent said, awesome. It was the best thing that I've seen in a while.
That's great.
But you know,
that's where we are.
Yeah, it's where we are with the Padres season. Is John's watching Star Wars reaction videos.
Who would have ever thought?
And I'm watching Ahsoka for like the 12th time.
Here's what I want to do up next. David J from Mad Friars. San Antonio is going to the postseason, right? In AA. They have to be.
Sure.
Their record's only 3 games over 500, but I think we split halves. They definitely go to the postseason. So expectations for AA. Padres in the postseason, tons of prospects right now in AA. Fort Wayne is in the postseason, single A affiliate of the Padres. They won game 1 of their 3-game series against the Dodgers affiliate last night. So we'll catch up with David J on the state of the Padres organization this September from Mad Friars. Plus, still ahead, we'll give away 2 free tickets to the Pacific Air Show. It's returning to Huntington Beach, Friday, September 29th to Sunday, October 1st. It's bringing more sky-high action and nonstop thrills than ever before. GA tickets only $25 plus booking fees. PacificAirshow.com. David J will join us next. What do you got, Brian?
I was just say I love Huntington Peaches. They're awesome.
Put it in flubs of the week. Stay with us. All right, David J. from Mad Friars. Expectations for Padres affiliates in the postseason. AA San Antonio, Single A Fort Wayne. We'll check in on Padres prospects with David J. next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, Dodgers, final game between the two for the rest of the year tonight at Dodger Stadium, 7:10 first pitch. Blake Snell on the mound for the Padres. Other news with the Padres today. Last night, it was reported that Darvish has been shut down officially for the rest of the season. Tonight, 6 p.m., Brady Hoke Coaches Show with John, Coach Hoke, and Rich Orenberger. The Aztecs take on Oregon State this Saturday afternoon, 12:30 kickoff. Our pregame coverage starts at 10:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760, and this update has been brought to you by Staples.
All right, we're going to give away 2 tickets to the Pacific Air Show. We'll do that at some point in the next 15 minutes. Jon and Jim back with you. It's great to catch up with David J., friend of the show, madfriars.com, the resource for Padres fans on the organization. Fort Wayne in the playoffs. Won yesterday in game 1 of a 3-game series against the Dodgers affiliate San Antonio in AA, heading to the postseason as well this year. David J. back with us here on Jon and Jim. So, David, we appreciate it. We know about the struggles at the big league level. We've talked about them plenty this year. What do you make of the state of the organization overall in the minor leagues heading into this September and this postseason?
Guys, it's good to have a chance. Big league trouble. I didn't realize there were any issues with big league.
Yeah, just a couple. Just a couple.
Yeah, okay. It's just you got every major player having down years, injuries, and
10 games under 500. But other than that,
Trent Grisham bunting last time with the bases loaded.
Other than that, it's been a good year.
Yes,
perfect. In the minor league side, there's certainly been a lot of positive news. I'd say across the system this year. We came into this year and more than any other year when we put our top 20 prospect list together, there were a ton of absolute unknowns. Right? We had last year's first 3 picks combined didn't pitch a single inning of competitive professional baseball last year. You had Ethan Salas, who'd been signed for all of a month at that point. So there were a ton of just hey, these guys are really talented, but we don't really have any sense of what we're going to see from them. And all of those guys have had really strong years. So that's certainly a plus. Like you mentioned, we've got 2 of the 4 clubs playing for league championships, which, it's cool to win championships in the minors, although I don't know how indicative that is of anything, in terms of the overall system. Jim, you may not know this because I know he never mentions it, but Jon used to work in minor league baseball, so so he probably remembers Hillcats team led by Nate McCluth and Ronnie Paulino and Ryan Vogelsong that won the Carolina championship.
First of all, okay, that was the year before me.
Oh, well, there you go.
2002, that 2002 Hillcats team you're talking about?
Yeah, which, that core group that really, kept moving up together and winning championships, and were part of that great wave of talent that eventually led to the renaissance of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, yeah, that was a great Pittsburgh teams in the mid-2000s.
Yeah, exactly. So, would you rather they win than they lose in the minor leagues? Absolutely. What does it tell you about future big league performance? Not necessarily the most indicative thing ever.
Well, didn't the Padres have like a minor league championship for, I think, their AAA team, or I forget what, or in the past they've had a lot of teams that have done well in the minor leagues, and there've been a lot of people that have said, oh, wait for the wave of talent coming up, and the wave of talent will never really came at all. So
yeah, well, but again, some of that is just reasonable expectation setting for the fan base and the front office, neither of which have been especially good at reasonable expectation setting, right? And you look at that El Paso roster that won with Hunter Renfroe, with Manny Margot. Those are good big league ball players, and at the risk of hearing about it from Padres Twitter, the fact of the matter is Austin Hedges has been a good big league ball player, right? So it's one thing to talk about where you get contributors, and another about where do you get star power, and I think that's been one of the issues for this organization.
For you, David, of all the top prospects that we've seen this year blossom, who for you has had the overall best year in the minors in this system?
Yeah, obviously there's been a ton of attention on the way Ethan Salas rushed up prospect rankings, and that's almost as fast, and probably for far more understandable reasons than as fast as he's been rushed up to AA. I think in terms of performance-wise, you've got 2 guys who clearly stand out. Robbie Snelling, whose ascension has in some ways been even more impressive than Salas's. He was the Padres second-round pick last year. Like I said, they have really taken this approach of their key draft arms not throwing in games at all after the draft. And then he just absolutely dominated this year. He started in Elsinore. He continued to perform in Fort Wayne. And now he's got a 1.5 something ERA and 4 starts with the Missions. He's likely to be the starter for their second playoff game next week. And he's put himself in a position that, he'll almost certainly pitch in the big leagues next year as a 20-year-old at some point. So I think he clearly stands out among the arms in terms of performance. And then position player wise, it's a guy who wasn't on anybody's radar really coming into this year, and it's Graham Pauley, who doesn't necessarily have a defensive home yet, but again, started the year in Lake Elsinore, huge on base percentage, went up to Fort Wayne and just went on a bender for 6 weeks where he hit like 16 home runs. And you look at his overall production this year, and when you start talking about who's had 20 homers, 20 stolen bases, and doesn't strike out, who strikes out less than 20% of the time, I think you've got 4 guys across all of minor league baseball. He's one of them. 2 of the others are guys who are considered, probably 2 of the top 10 prospect players in the game in Jackson Churio and Ronnie Mauricio. So, it's just an absolutely monster year for him. And, again, where does he land on the field? That's a little bit of a question still. But just a great performance this year.
David J. MattFryers.com with us right now on Jon and Jim. So we spent all this time yesterday, and this is kind of inconsequential to the conversation yesterday's game against the Dodgers with Trent Grisham's bunt. But we're thinking about the future. If the Padres do move on from Trent Grisham, how close or far is Jackson Merrill from contributing? And like, is he an option to start 2024 in the outfield for the Padres? You have Tatis, you have Soto. You could plug Merrill into a corner. Is that a realistic possibility, like a 21-year-old Jackson Merrill being in the Padres outfield, and how soon?
Well, and if there's one thing that's been true about this organization in the AJ Preller era, it's that they're overly cautious in bringing young guys who may not really have a defensive position established up to the big leagues to start the year. So,
yes.
It's hard to imagine this organization ever. And I think I'm sure there are folks in the front office who are arguing for that to happen to start the 2024 year.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the right thing? I don't know. I talked about that list of how many players have gone 2020. When you bring it down to 15-15 and don't strike out, Jackson Merrill's right there. He's a really talented, well-balanced player. He's logged 26 professional innings in the outfield.
That's fine.
And and there are some areas that I think I'd want to see him have the space to work on before coming up to start the year. But, look, Fernando Tatis had logged fewer professional innings in the outfield than that at the start of the 2023 season. So, I shudder to say, no, they wouldn't consider that to just about any idea at this point, because I've been consistently wrong about whether they'd consider it.
Yeah, they'll consider a lot of things. So it's like, don't be surprised if this thing happens, because it's what AJ Preller does. David, before we let you go here, I don't know if we'll get to talk to you before the end of this season. And I'm sure Peter Seidler will hopefully speak at the end of this year. For you, as a Padres fan, what do you want to hear from the Padres, specifically from Peter Seidler, at the end of this disastrous season?
And to be honest, I'm not especially interested in what anybody in the organization has to say right now. I think it's going to be what matters is what you're going to see in the way the organization goes about preparing for next year, goes about addressing the fact that they really painted themselves into a corner for not just 2024 but beyond. And I'm old enough to remember when Artie Moreno was the most popular owner in Major League Baseball, because he was always out front cheerleading and being a fan first and all the rest. I'm okay with not hearing as much and seeing results.
I agree with you. I think actions in this case will speak much louder than words.
All right, it's going to be an interesting October, not on the field, but an interesting October for the Padres. We'll see if the Tin Caps can win in the Midwest League. Can the Missions win in the Texas League, make something out of a season that's been lost in the big leagues? But there's talent, and they've had some success at the lower levels. We'll see if that can carry over to San Diego in 2024 and beyond. David, always appreciate it. Again, for our listeners, make sure to check out madfriars.com for much, much more on the Padres organization. David, thank you. We'll do it again, all right?
Thanks, man.
Always a pleasure, guys.
Our pleasure. David J., Mad Friars. On the other side, Jim's back page, plus a pair of tickets we'll give away to the Pacific Air Show. That's next. All right, we've got those Pacific Air Show tickets to give away, plus Jim's back page next. All right, least surprising news of the day. Rich Hill, unclaimed on waivers. He'll remain with the Padres.
No team picked him up?
Surprisingly, no. So Rich Hill has cleared waivers. He's owed $800,000 for the rest of the year. They tried to clear that $800,000. They couldn't. So he will remain with the Padres. All right, call right now if you want 2 free tickets to the Pacific Air Show. Caller 5, they are yours. 844-570-1360. 844-570-1360. Pacific Air Show returning to Huntington Beach Friday, September 29th to Sunday, October 1st. It's bringing more sky-high action and nonstop thrills than ever before. GA tickets only $25 plus booking fees. PacificAirshow.com. If you want them, 2 free tickets. Call right now. 844-570-1360. Call right now. Let's get to this.
So we've dabbled in the AI feature of life.
Oh, we have
recently. You had AI. We had AI Jim and AI Jon. The AI yes. Jon and Jim.
Yes. They replaced us.
They did. They hosted the show for a little while because we were done talking about the Padres, and we've had many moments like that in this long disasters of a season. Well, anyway, Coca-Cola has used AI to create a mystery flavor of Coke. Coca-Cola has given you a chance to taste the future. The company used artificial intelligence and human insights to come up with its new limited edition Coca-Cola Y3000 flavor, saying it was created to show us an optimistic version of what's to come.
An optimistic version of
vision, sorry.
Okay, of what? It's just a cola, right? It's just
They say, taste the future. Enjoy a Coca-Cola flavor from the year 3000.
How do I get that?
Well, John, the Coca-Cola, hold on, is currently not out yet, but it will drop sometime in the remainder of the year. Sometime later in this year. Does not have a date yet.
Okay, so they're gonna release it before 3000. You don't have to wait until the year 3000.
Yeah, you don't have to wait that long.
Okay,
no, but I'd be interested to taste what it tastes like because it's hard to mess
Coke.
up Coke.
Yeah,
it's just a cool can.
Yeah, okay. So it's a cool can. I mean, do they need to do this? Coke's fine. You don't need a can from the future. Sell Coke.
You don't need a can from the future.
Right? You're good.
I want some Coca-Cola. Now, would I taste it? Absolutely. Would I buy it? Absolutely. A Coca-Cola.
Do you feel like it would taste the same?
You know what they should just do? They should just go back to the old version of Coke with the syrup.
And
that's what the flavor should be.
Okay.
Whatever. Twinkies, John.
Yeah.
Is being bought by J.M. Smucker.
Okay, so the Smucker company.
The Smucker company.
Yeah, like Smuckers.
Guess how much Twinkies is being bought for?
I think it's worth a lot of money. Twinkies. Okay. My buddy's in the dried fruit business. This is big money.
Mm-hmm.
This is big money. I would say Twinkies is worth, Twinkies is being sold for $585 million.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Small money.
Twinkie is being bought by the J.M. Smucker for $5.6 billion.
So I said basically 10%. I said 500 million. It's 5 billion.
$5
billion? They're moving that many Twinkies?
And Twinkies was on the brink of extinction back in the early 2010s.
And now it's just a behemoth?
Now it's going to be sold for $5 billion.
Do you eat Twinkies? Is that something you've had in the last decade?
I can't tell you the last time I ate a Twinkie.
Brent, are you a Twinkie eater?
He's on the phone.
He is. He's saying yes, but I know he's listening.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I
but
see
guess
it all the time.
Are.
I see it all the time in store. $5 billion. Twinkies being sold for $5 billion.
Wow.
And finally, the brand Fanta.
Of course. Like our buddy John.
Yeah, John.
The
Fanta,
orange soda.
The orange soda.
Mm-hmm.
Fanta has come out with a new Fanta Black Zero flavor that will turn your tongue black.
I'm good. Why?
The brand is coming out with a black soda flavor that tastes just like Fanta, the original, but it will turn your tongue black.
Are we looking for that? Is that something that was missing?
Not particularly.
Why not turn your tongue orange? Because they're known for orange soda.
I think your tongue is naturally a pinkish orange color.
Yeah, maybe pink.
So
not orange.
Probably pinkish, more pinkish
Stick
than orange.
your tongue out. Pink.
It's like a pinkish
so
white.
Fanta, and the purpose being sold, does it taste just like orange soda, or what's it taste like?
They said it tastes like Fanta, but it's it's black and it turns your mouth and your tongue black.
Is it for Halloween? Because you get whatever.
It's like a Halloween promotion.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So
that's your back page for the day.
Yeah.
So Brent, did you realize Twinkies or Twinkie or whatever sold for $5.6 billion? That seems high. It's a lot of Twinkies.
Hostess. It's not just Twinkies though. It's Hostess.
Oh, did Hostess sell?
Yeah, it's Hostess, not Twinkies.
I remember my first time doing a back page, dude. That Twinkie's just one brand. Hostess is all kinds of things.
Hostess is ding dongs,
Cupcakes.
Twinkies, everything. It's the Hostess brand.
It's that you basically are saying you're hey, how much did the Cowboys sell for? But it was really the whole NFL got sold. They sold it all.
This story says. Okay, yeah, you're right.
But Twinkies
I read
is
it the other
brand.
day. I was going to send
Twinkies
it to
is a big brand, but
Hostess, come on with those little I don't know, the cursive
fruit,
on the
fruit
top.
pies too, and I like Hostess.
Trent Grisham, point your anger there. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. If you're listening to the podcast, please leave a review as well. Find us on YouTube. Search
Hostess
for Jon and
bunt.
Jim. Search for Jon and
they
Jim.
would never bunt or strike out looking.
They wouldn't.
Twinkie the Kid would never do that to us.
Find us on social media at Jon and Jim. JONANDJIM. We are back tomorrow at 3. Special guest at 3:30, folks. Special guest tomorrow at 3:30. Brent doesn't know. Jim doesn't know. I know. Join us tomorrow. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. I'm not going to tell them either. Keep it right here at San Diego Sports 760.
It's Trent Grisham.